Today on our show, youths hone their chess skills. Eye gouging becomes a popular sport in early Georgia. From Aaron to Zor and all points in between, you're in Studio Statesboro.
Studio Statesboro brought to you in part by Ogeechee Technical College and East Georgia Regional.
Here at Ogeechee Technical College, I teach students the value of hard work and dedication. I'm proud when they're able to realize their purpose and be successful. My purpose is fulfilled when I see students graduate and begin working in a profession they love. I'm Tony Pizzacano. My purpose is to help students find their purpose.
At Ogeechee Tech, there are many instructors like Tony to help you find your purpose in everything from accounting to truck driving. Ogeechee Technical College, education with purpose.
Welcome to Studio Statesboro. I'm Carrie Bankhead. Thanks for clicking on us. Every week, youngsters from around Bullock County come to Statesboro Regional Library to learn how to play chess. We stopped on Wednesday afternoon to watch ranked chess players sharing their skills and knowledge with the youths.
I think people believe chess is a very complicated game, tougher than checkers by way of example. The truth is entirely different from that. A young kid, 5, 6 years old, can learn how to play chess in just a matter of hours. And, they won't become a master at it, but they can become a good chess player. In just a few hours, in a matter of weeks, they can become a very capable chess player.
Can't go dive in the lights.
Pretty fun. I mean, if you just, it's fun to just think about stuff, it's moving little plastic pieces, I guess. It's also very fun to go to tournaments, and it's just a great time to have fun, learn how to play chess.
There are the reason somebody should bring their child to a chess tournament or get them involved in a chess team is there are all kinds of advantages of knowing how to play chess. These are documented by the U.S. Chess Federation. For instance, it's even thought that it raises IQs. It raises standardized test scores. It results in good decorum, good concentration, self-responsibility, preparedness, all kinds of character traits that are positive. Kids, I've had my own kids. Some were D students, C students, now are A+ students in high school after having played chess. But I, again, emphasize that a kid can start at 5, 6, 7 years old easily, and it'll have positive benefit throughout their entire school career.
When we come back, Roger Allen talks about eye gouging. Yes, eye gouging. In a Bullock History Moment.
Ask your cardiologist about our newest program in cardiac care. Ask your cardiologist about our newest cardiac specialist. Ask your cardiologist about the life-saving procedures we can now perform in our brand new facility. The complete heart care you need is available right where you live. Call your cardiac referral line today. East Georgia Regional Medical Center in Statesboro.
Back in the formative days of Georgia's colony, one of the more unusual events was a competition where people actually tried to gouge an eyeball out from an opponent. Here's Roger Allen with the eye-popping details.
Hey everybody, going to do another series here on Middle Georgia history. And this time we're going to talk about the 1800s. Of course, Bullock County is just barely created. The first is about fighting in Georgia, the rough and tumble manner. In 1807, Charles William Jansen came over from England. He traveled around the South, and particularly in Georgia. And he had something to say. He introduced a crowd that he called the Eleveners. He said, "Often I have seen with horror boys intoxicated, shouting and swearing in the public streets. Aping their father, they smoke cigars to the most immoderate degree." He continued, "These second-rate consumers of distillations from the sugar cane, the grape, and the juniper berry would be strolling around the corner of streets or other public places at the 11th hour. They became known as the Eleveners. He and a group of his fellow Englishmen were riding through a town outside. It's not labeled, but I've heard that it was said to be Scriven. And they came upon a scene at the courthouse, the big day, the court. He said, while passing in company with other travelers through the state of Georgia, our attention was arrested by a gouging match. The combatants were fast clenched by the band and their thumbs endeavoring to force a passage into each other's eyes. The stunned Englishman watched as the winner of the match sprung up with antagonist eye in his hand. He compared the Georgians to dogs and bears. They used their teeth and their feet with the most savage ferocity. Histories have shown that after the big day was held in Scriven County, young children would run around with little saucers in their hands picking up eyes that were laying on the ground. This has historically been proven. This happened not just once, but quite often. These men, they were really held nothing back. Everybody knows about Evander Holyfield getting part of his ear bitten off by Mike Tyson. Well, they didn't start with part. They took the whole thing. Another man seconded this. John Palmer wrote a book of his travels in America in 1817. He said the whole people have got a very bad character, especially for blackguardism, and their manner of fighting when intoxicated is certainly confined to the lowest. He said the English reader knows what fair fighting is, but can hardly imagine what this rough and tumble Georgia fighting is. In the latter case, the combatants take advantage. They pull, they bite, and they kick. With hellish ferocity, they strive to gouge and turn each other's eyes out of their sockets. The Englishmen were appalled. They were absolutely shocked. They couldn't believe. But this was the forefront. This was the wilderness. This was where people came to get ready to go into the woods, do battle with Indians, fight nature. But this wasn't just confined to the woods. In the city of Savannah itself, a gentleman, James Jackson, and another man, James Gunn. Senator James Gunn and Governor James Jackson came to blows, literally. Jackson's aides managed to get an article put into the Savannah Morning News, or what was a Savannah paper, and it was libeling Gunn. So James Gunn went in there, and they got a retraction, and they got something put in there which basically insinuated that James Jackson was responsible for some of the things that had happened. This was all around the time of the Yazoo flood. Well, Jackson was furious. He grabbed his aides and a group of supporters, and they marched down to the editor's office, and Jackson, who was rather right here, approached the editor and told him, he said if he did not retract it, they would take the printing presses, throw them in the river. And they put guns to his breast, and they threatened to blow him away. Unfortunately, Gunn supporters heard that Jackson and his crew were there. So all of a sudden, the editor found himself with a huge group of Savannians behind him who were threatening to do harm to Jackson and his aides if they didn't leave the editor alone. Jackson's group retreated. They came back again later, but there was still a large group of Savannians there, bound and determined to protect the editor and the newspaper and Gunn's reputation. So what James Jackson did is he arranged for his crew to get an act passed in the Georgia legislature, or at least try to. And what it stated is that no printer in the state of Georgia could print anything libelous against the President of the United States. But they came to blows. Literally, they threatened to kill each other. They threatened to throw the presses into the river and they scattered the type on the ground and burned the place down to the ground. Georgia was not a mild-mannered place. It was the frontier. In the city, they were bound and determined by honor. And in the country, they were wild and woolly, just like the creatures that they fed. So it's another moment to begin this series from Roger Allen in Bullitt County and Georgia history.
For more on what's happening this week in Statesboro, be sure to check out the Statesboro Convention and Visitors Bureau's website.
Thanks for joining us in Studio Statesboro today. We're here with a new show after 5 p.m. every weekday. You can stay in touch with local news in the pages of the Statesboro Herald and online at statesboroherald.com. And you can also follow us on Facebook. We'll see you soon.